Hello, 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 everyone, and welcome to another Hostinger Horizons event. It's me, Karolis, your favorite host's favorite host, and I hope you're all doing great tonight. So, whether it be night, day, or evening, or morning for you, I hope you're ready for a lot of great things that we have in store for you today to cover how AI can supercharge your productivity. Hence the name, from zero to a total hero. I saw people are already discussing how they want to be heroes today, so we're going to be turning you guys into superheroes tonight, and we're going to be showcasing a lot of cool things, and we even have a special surprise guest that I'm sure you will all appreciate. We're going to go through a lot of great things, so much cool content to cover. So hey, hello everyone, say hi in the chat, and let me know where you guys are coming in from, whether it be, the Massachusetts or, center of Australia or any other place in the world. It's always great to see people coming in from every corner. So I might, pick you out as well and ask you a few questions if I'm curious, maybe for tourism and stuff like that. So hope you're all doing great tonight. Without further ado, let's jump into our main topic. I can see people already introducing themselves from Switzerland, Bangladesh, Scotland, Canada, Tampa, Florida, UK, North Carolina. Awesome. And also Arizona, Vietnam. Super. Great, great. So I hope you're all hyped and ready because I sure am. Let's jump in with our main topic for today, right? So how to make your life easier using the power of AI. Now, I know for myself that this is a topic that's been talking about so many times. We're not going to be reinventing the wheel tonight. I'm sure you're going to hear some things that you've heard before, but it is very important to know those basic things so that you could make use of them and maybe in the future, remember them and reapply them wherever possible. Let's also take a look at our agenda for today. So we're of course going to be tackling what is Hostinger Horizons, since this is an event dedicated for Hostinger Horizons itself, right? We're going to go through some updates. We have some really great ones that you have been asking for. So it's been a very busy week. We're also going to go look through some of your own projects that you guys have created. And of course, a little update about the Hostinger Horizons Challenge. Some of you may already know a few weeks back, we announced the start of the challenge. So today we do have a special update. Those AI tools you need to know will be coming up next with our special guest and of course our Q&A. Now, if at any point during the time of today's presentation you have any questions regarding Hostinger Horizons or anything that we're talking about in particular, feel free to ask your questions then and now, right? I'll be looking through the questions as we go along, or you can save them up for our Q&A where we're going to be tackling all of them as much as we can. Though I can't promise that we'll answer every single question since there's always so many of you and so many different things that we want to talk about. So without further ado, let's jump right in. So for those that are new here and don't know what Hostinger Horizons is, let me give you a quick and simple breakdown. Hostinger Horizons is a special AI tool, an agent of sorts, right, that works in a similar vein that other AI tools work, like, for example, ChatGPT, where you chat with it and you ask questions, you provide certain information and stuff like that. It creates your own website or web application on the spot, lets you preview it, edit it, and make changes to it on the spot, live as you're doing it. So instead of having to actually create your website using WordPress and code it by hand or put all those elements together using any kind of plugin or any kind of editing tool, you can just have, your own idea written down in a simple sentence like, I want to create a digital marketing agency, or I want to create a website for a barber shop that's really modern and is meant for a specific audience, right? And that's pretty much everything that you need these days. That's where Hostinger Horizons shines and creates your own website with just a simple line of text. Now, it can be a lot of lines as well. You can go as in-depth as you want. If you're curious about how to make sure that you're prompting correctly, we'll be talking about that a little bit later as well. Of course, it's not just that. At Hostinger right here, we do offer a full one package deal where you get everything that you need all in one place. So you are able to publish your project, you're able to get an email address, a domain, a hosting plan. Everything is included in one simple package, so you don't have to worry about going to 10 different providers for 10 different small things, right? We try to bundle it up as much as possible so that you don't have to worry about, 7 different invoices from 7 different companies, right? Just one and one thing only that you need. And also, I see that we did have a very international crowd here today, so people from Indonesia and Pakistan and India. So if English is not your primary language, then you are free to chat with Hostinger Horizons in your own language. You're not limited to just English. You do have the ability to speak in your own language that you choose. And last but not least, if you are somebody, for example, a business owner, right, who doesn't have any experience, especially with programming or designing websites or making sure that everything is going well, right, then Hostinger Horizons is pretty much the perfect solution and a great alternative for those of you that want to have your website created without going through the hassle of putting and placing everything yourself manually, because it does that for you. It takes care of things like SEO and making sure that your website is going to be found up there in the internet, and not only on the Google searches and Yahoo searches or whatever search engine you use, but also on those AI, generative platforms as well. So like ChatGPT can also find your website, since we do optimize for those engines. Moving on forward, we do have something that we have as a tradition here at this point, right? It's a special Horizons lottery. So if you want to enter and become one of 5 lucky winners that wins 20 free messages today, all you have to do is scan the QR code that you see on the screen, and you'll have to answer 5 extremely simple questions. So it's not going to be anything mind-boggling, right? We just want to hear your feedback and what you think, maybe where you came from, right? What interests you the most, all of these things, so that we could keep improving our services. And I'm also posting the link in the chat. If you're using something like a mobile device already, right, you can just click the link in the chat and jump directly to the form right there. I'll also give a brief reminder about this little contest that we're doing, this little lottery before we jump into our main segment. And after we're done covering all of the main stuff that we have today, we're also gonna be drawing those 5 winners, so spinning a wheel and seeing who wins at the end of today's event. So if you are watching this after this event is already over, chances are that you might have missed this particular lottery, but no worries, you still have a chance next time. We have events happening every second week. So if you're interested to learn more, you can head down to hostinger.com/horizons. There under resources, you'll find our upcoming events. So make sure to save the date and participate in future lotteries as well. And yeah, let's move on forward. So what we have is also those cool updates that I mentioned. Now, starting off, I'm going to give you a quick little rundown of the main ones. So we have visual edits that you can apply to images now. We have integration simplification to make sure that you understand everything that's happening, right, a little bit easier. The code editor that has been a very much requested feature from you guys. Online store integration that we have covered previously, and also a Cody integration. Those of you that are unfamiliar, Cody is our special AI agent that we have ourselves, that we have created ourselves, that can also help answer questions about Hostinger Horizons. So instead of having to, use up prompts or messages for Hostinger Horizons directly, you can prompt to Cody to help you answer and provide you with a little bit more guidance, whether it be about general things or Hostinger related things. It's all included in there. And for upcoming features, we are working on more analytics. So we want to make sure that you're able to track how well your website is doing through a dedicated analytics dashboard or something of the sort, right? Now, talking about those particular updates, I do want to showcase a few little things. So let me showcase this, which is the ability to edit those images that I mentioned. Instead of just being able to edit the text, now you are able to click on individual images and change them directly on the spot. And this does not consume any credits or messages or anything like that. You can do this entirely free. Moving on forward, We also do have the integration simplification that I mentioned, and that's also a little bit of a tongue twister, right? But now when you do go into the integrations tab and you click on a certain integration, we'll provide you with additional information on what exactly this integration does, a quick little Q&A about how and where you can use it the best, right? So this will provide you with more additional details on where you could use those integrations and how you could implement them directly into your web application. And last but not least, it is the code editing feature. So now you are able to edit the code of your website directly. You're able to browse through the files that were created for your website and see the code inside and edit it directly. And I can see this is already a game changer for some of you. I've already had the pleasure of using it before as well when I needed to implement my own Google Gemini API key, right? So instead of just writing in the API key into the prompt, into the message bar, I was able to enter the files and enter the API key in there. And this applies to all the files that are created through this method. So that's pretty much it in terms of the updates. If you are interested in more, we always do have updates coming up for every other event and also on our blog page. Now we can move on into our project showcase. So we do have 3 little simple projects that you guys have created that we want to showcase, right? So let's move on into the first one. This one is called dukeboosts.com. So for those of you that are gamers and are really big fans of Call of Duty in particular, and you're having trouble with, getting your account up and getting a better ranking, this particular website offers boosting services to boost your account to a certain level. And you can choose from which level you're currently starting at, like which rank, and which one you want to go to, and get the appropriate costs for each one of these. You also get to review all of that and even purchase individual accounts in their marketplace. So if you're interested in that, that is also something that you can check out on their website. Moving on forward, I'll move myself over here so you guys can see a little bit more clearly as well. This one is called the Seating Planner app. And this one allows you to make seating arrangements for various types of events, whether it be a corporate event, whether it be a wedding, right? You want to make sure that the right people are sitting in the right places. And instead of having to do all of that on paper, you can just take their very simple questionnaire where they ask a few questions like the names of the people, and they are able to export all of that into a very simple and really nice looking format. If I'm getting married anytime soon, then I'm sure going to be using this particular website to make sure that those seating arrangements are done correctly. You can even customize them to your own liking, like the table sizes and stuff like that. And onto our last project. It's a very simple one. It's called catcosmeticsinc.com. And this one is for booking sessions with a cosmetic professional. So if any of you are based in San Francisco, I think that's where this particular site is coming from. If any of you are based there and you are interested in any kind of cosmetic services, like for a bridal party, or maybe you're interested in some kind of group event, right, or something like that, then this site might be your go-to for that option, right? And they also have their own classes where they can teach you a little bit more. So if you're interested in that, go ahead, visit the site. It was created with Hostinger Horizons. I think it looks wonderful, right, for what it is. And I'm sure those owners will be very happy to see you guys come along. Moving on forward, we do have an update about the Hostinger Horizons Challenge. So we are actually extending our deadlines to August 22nd. We already have gotten quite a few of your great projects for the different kinds of business tools. If you're hearing about this challenge for the first time, I really urge you to visit our blog. So hostinger.com/blog/challenge-business tools, right? Where you can learn more, where we are hosting a special challenge where the first 100 business tools that you guys create for us, for businesses worldwide, will be featured in a separate blog post and will be featured on our own website, right? So you may have the chance of making a difference online for businesses all over the place, right? Imagine a place where you can find pretty much anything that you could need in one simple place. So we want to make a difference. We want to make sure the businesses worldwide are thriving. And what better way to do that by, creating tools for them to use and prosper in the future. If you haven't had the time to register or submit your project, no worries, we're extending that deadline, so you can do that very easily through the Google form found in that blog post. You can also check our social channels if you want more information about that as well. So that's a quick little update for the Hostinger Horizons challenge that is going on as of this moment. So if you are interested, really do urge you to give it a shot. We accept all kinds of tools, so as long as it serves a business function of some kind, whether it be a calculator of some kind for expenses, whether it be a booking system, right? Anything like that, I'm sure people worldwide will really appreciate it and will also give you the credit for that as well. And moving on forward, another quick reminder about the Horizons lottery, right? So if you are interested in winning 20 free Hostinger Horizons messages today, then feel free to scan the QR code that you see on the screen. I'll also post in the link one more time in the chat. All you have to do is answer 5 simple questions and you'll be entered into the lot. And near towards the end of today's event, which is happening live, by the way, for those of you that are watching after the event is already over. So we'll be picking 5 special winners to redeem those rewards. But yeah, it's great to see you all. I see you're very active in the chat, right? Which is great. So I'm going to be very interested to see what kind of business tools you guys are going to be creating. And let's move on forward, shall we? So we're going to be talking about those AI tools you need to know. Like I mentioned before, some of these are going to be very familiar to you and you might have heard about them before, right? But we do want to emphasize, the practicality and the ease of use of these particular tools. So I'm sure you guys are really going to appreciate it either way. So let's jump in with the first one and probably the most popular option out there as of this moment, which is ChatGPT. Now, this is something that you guys already know about. I'm sure all over the world, all over the place. There's a lot of buzz going around about ChatGPT as well at the moment, about the 5th version, right? But I do want to emphasize the main functionalities that you can make use of with this particular AI tool, mainly the ones that it is best at and the ones that will help you to thrive and, make your productivity even better. So like, supercharging that productivity, as we mentioned in the title. Firstly, going with things like customer support automation, so creating something like a chatbot for your site or your business, right? Moving on over to a coding assistant that can help you to generate, debug, or explain code for you to, if you have some special snippets and you're a coder yourself and you are a little bit confused or you need a little bit of additional help, ChatGPT can really help out with that. Also, it really helps in terms of content creation. So for drafts, for blog posts, for copies, right, for scripts, all of those things. You can surely see that happening all over the place as well, where people are asking to shorten this, lengthen that, or, summarize this information. I think it's also one of the main kind of use cases for ChatGPT these days around. Moving on forward to something like data analysis, so the things that I mentioned before, like summarizing, right, interpretation and visualization of your data sets and ideas. And of course, the brainstorming aspect. So generating ideas and helping you get on the right track when you have the answer at the tip of your tongue, but you just can't get it right. That's where ChatGPT, I think, really shines and helps you to grasp that idea and then make it a reality. Moving on to our next part, we're going to be talking about Google Gemini, also a very popular AI model these days around. So what it does excel at, it's that multimodal content generation from things like text to images to audio and even video, right? All with a single easy prompt. You might have seen loads of very interesting and cool AI videos and audios and things like that generated with Gemini. So that is really a great tool for, generating that content. Also, it does help in terms of automating your productivity, especially if you have Google Workspace, right? So summarizing meetings, right? Drafting your emails for you, generating reports, right? All of that can be super easily done with the power of Gemini. Then it can also help with search enhanced work. So it can pull relevant data from specific sources like your Google Drive, your Gmail, right? Your docs, your sheets, right? All of that stuff, and then provide that for you, right? Also in a summarized kind of manner. because it's so integrated with the Google Workspace. I think it's a very popular tool for those of you that are very into that, right? Always using things like Gmail, Docs, or Google Sheets, right? Or Google Drive and stuff like that. And of course, real-time translation. So if you are using things like Google Meets, right, and you are talking with someone whose language you don't particularly understand, then Gemini really shines with their real-time translation feature that is great to help convert that information into understandable, language that you are familiar with. Moving on forward, we're going to be talking about Claude. Now, you might have heard about this one as well. It is great in terms of coding. So firstly, it's great with complex document analysis, right? So you can read and summarize hundreds and hundreds of pages of PDFs or even long transcripts and provide you with all the relevant details very easily, as well as even logic-heavy tasks, right? So if you have a very, let's say, very wide problem that has a lot of sub-steps that need to be taken care of in the process, right? Just writing that down and giving this to Claude can really help, as it can help reason and provide, individual solutions, maybe the ones that work the best for your particular issue or any particular, kind of solution that you're working for. Also, it's really great at technical writing, so helping you create documents for APIs, so for programming, right? For those of you that are really esteemed programmers, this is going to be very helpful. Also, things like structured specifications as well. So many multiple kind of technical related documents are where Claude 4 in particular exceeds in this particular area. It's also a great coding partner. It's great for building and optimizing software, right? And it does provide a lot of code for you and explanations so that you could go ahead and understand what exactly is happening behind the screen, right? In the back end, not just the front end that it built for you. And scenario simulation. So if you ever have a what if scenario of, what if, the sun moved like, 10 miles to the side, right? What would happen to Earth or any other planet, right? So it can help in terms of, providing those what if cases, not only just very hypothetical ones, but also those that are applicable for any kind of business. So what kind of, let's say, profit margins could increase, or what kind of losses would I expect with a certain decision that I would be making. Moving on forward, we can also talk about Perplexity AI. Maybe not as popular as an AI tool, but some of you may have also heard about it. So this one is really great in terms of researching, not just in terms of the trends that are happening online, stats, and your competitors, right? But also in terms of studies and linked directly to those original papers, to those original links. When I remember back at the start of ChatGPT when it was hallucinating its own sources all the time. Perplexity doesn't have a problem with that. It's really great at citing its own sources and providing you with that detailed information. It also is very good with fact checking. So if you want to fact check someone, or if somebody you think that might be wrong, right? So this could be very helpful in making sure that you're the right one, or maybe even proving yourself wrong in that case. Then it's also great in briefing and reporting, right? So providing very concise summaries for those of you that are executives, or those of you that need a very concise data set of information, right, with the transparency of the source. And last but not least, with the document and web hybrid search, it can query both internal files in your own system and the internet in one interface. So it kind of merges those two together. So if you have a lot of documents about a certain product or a certain service that you provide, and you also have the internet talking about you as well, then Perplexity AI can merge those two and provide its own conclusions from there. And moving on forward to our last tool that we're going to be talking about, it's going to be Canva. So this one is great. I'm sure most of you have already heard about it. It's really great in terms of making content, especially. So it excels in that area where if you need any kind of marketing material, it's the pretty much go-to for generating things like posters, brochures, social media ads, right? And also providing all of that information while adapting to your own brand. It also is great at providing and creating professional presentations. If you ever need to do a press conference or any kind of presentation for a group of people, I really do recommend to use Canva for this because it is really great at getting those slide decks just from the text and making it an actual, visually appealing reality there. It's also good at video creation, so you can also use it to create and produce those short form videos, right, with those stock assets that are provided and even AI voiceovers that are included on the side. So it's a really nice feature that you can also make use of from there. And last but not least, of course, social media content. We all know that one of the biggest things for social media is consistency. If you're not uploading, I don't know, 5 posts per week or even 10 posts per week, you can really get lost in the sauce and in all of the other people that are, doing their own thing. So to help with consistency, Canva is going to be a great tool that can help you for this particular area by creating multiple posts, right, and stories, particularly fine-tuned for each platform that you're using. Now, I know that I've been yapping for quite a while, but I think it's time to move on over to something that's probably most important for you guys, right? So where could you apply all of these for hosting your horizons? Now, I've excluded some very simple use cases that you guys can use. Of course, there are a ton more, right? So it's not particularly only these ones, but I think these are the ones that you guys could use the most. For example, for ChatGPT, you could easily use it to power an AI chatbot inside of hosting your horizons to answer customer queries, right? To recommend specific products, to assist with onboarding your clients and providing general information for them. For Google Gemini, by integrating it with Google Workspace, you could have it capture that information and generate proposals or reports, right? And marketing content with that business data that you have stored from your particular clients, right? So if you have a Google login integrated directly, it's going to make super easy, use of Gemini in there. For Claude in particular, it's great for complex requests, right? So if you need to analyze things like contracts, if you're a lawyer or a realtor of some kind, right? Or you work with a lot of documents and very technical heavy jargon, right? Then that is great in providing those, detailed project scopes. It can even help in generating that, Deku documentation itself. So generating it on the spot. And for the rest of the AI models, so for Perplexity, the best one that I would generally recommend for would be for research-backed blog posts or resources. So if you are somebody that is doing things like scientific research, or maybe you're someone like, I don't know, a food blogger, right? And you want to make sure that all of your ideas and all of the things that you're talking about are backed by facts and logic, then for sure you want to use Perplexity AI to back all of those blog posts with their original sources, right? And provide a better SEO score for your website, making sure that it ranks even better. Lastly, for Canva, it's great for generating those visual assets, right? Especially the banners, right, that you might need, especially for social media content as well that we talked about, right? Or for the Horizons website itself. If you want to generate simple images and include them on your website, whether they be product related or related to your own service, then it's also a fully great option. That's pretty much it in terms of the integration and application of these particular AI models for hosting your horizons. Next topic that we're going to be talking about is hosting your horizons and N8N. Now, some of you may not have heard about this particular tool. That is why I have asked a special guest to join us today. His name is Minius, and he will also cover a part of the N8N segment of today. He is a VPS expert here at Hostinger. So say hello, Minius, and introduce yourself.
Hello, guys. Hello, Carlos. My name is Minius. I'm the VPS product manager here at Hostinger, and today I would like to, talk about Hostinger Horizons and N8N integration, and talk about, what cool things you can do. And I already see somebody in the chat mentioning N8N. So probably most of you already know what N8N is. If not, then yeah, stay here, and we'll try to make you understand.
Yeah, to keep it short and simple, N8N is a tool to help automate any kind of process that you might need. Some of you may have heard of a particular program called Zapier that helps in automating specific tasks and linking them together with different applications and APIs. Think of that, but larger in scope. That is generally what N8N is, and that is what it can do, right? So I have excluded some particular use cases with N8N in particular because with Hostinger VPS, you can host your own, have your own self-hosted N8N kind of service. So what this means is that with a Hostinger Horizon subscription and a Hostinger VPS, you could connect these two and automate not just the things that are happening on Horizons itself, but with any other service worldwide, whether that be any AI model like ChatGPT, right? I think Minius will also showcase a few use cases that I think you will find really interesting from here. So I really do think there's going to be some cool ways that you guys can use it. Now, I have excluded 5 very simple ones right here that you can go ahead and try for yourselves if you guys are interested. Some to showcase where you can use N8N with Hostinger Horizons directly. Moving on to the first one, it's lead capture directly to CRM and communications. So if you have things like form submissions with very detailed information in your Hostinger Horizons website, with N8N, you could send all of that data directly to HubSpot or any kind of other application that aggregates data, right? And then auto-acknowledge that with any kind of communication service like email, SMS, WhatsApp. It could be Messenger even, right? Facebook Messenger or maybe Instagram as well, automated directly with that. So Hostinger Horizon supports those third-party integrations like Stripe and Supabase via prompts. So you could also fit this same pattern in for things like order confirmations, right? Order updates, all of that done with N8N and Hostinger Horizons working together. And this will help you make communication with your users particularly easier by automatically reaching out to them instead of having to write every individual customer or user that, hey, I received your information, or hey, I have an update about this or that. So this is a very simple and widely used use case that I think you guys can really jump into. Moving on forward, next is payments and orders. So something that I did talk about before. But when a checkout happens through your Hostinger Horizon store, you could hit it with an N8N webhook, right? And help create an invoice, add the buyer to a particular segment, right, for analysis, or even add a specific notification for you and your team to let you know that, hey, we made a sale, right? We made, a big sale of like $100, $1,000, right? So making sure that you are up to date to all of the most important things, all of those specific pings that are happening, right? I think this is, kind of integration is very self-explanatory for those of you that are running an online store or selling your own services online. So it's applicable for those stores that use that VPS integration that's available, and it will help simplify the checkout process and later analyze the information from your customers directly. So you could even notice patterns in terms of transactions. Maybe some particular days are the most popular when your clients are making purchases. Moving on forward, we do have messaging automation, right, through things like WhatsApp, email, and various chat applications. So you could orchestrate those sequences, right, for WhatsApp to reach out to your clients, your users. It could be some kind of newsletter, right? It could be a notification. You also have transactional emails you could pair up with SendGrid, Mailgun, or any other kind of familiar service. Live alerts to a Slack channel or your own Discord server, as well as other various very simple nodes that you can make use of. So if anything has a chat interface, you can pretty much almost be guaranteed that you'll be able to get a message from N8N directly in there. And yeah, it's best used when you need that fast and simple communication for your project between you and your user. Moving on forward, we have data and analytics. So you could stream direct events from Hostinger Horizons, like the signups, purchases, right, into various applications like BigQuery, Postgres, or Supabase directly, which is integrated into Hostinger Horizons. for dashboards and cohorting. So you could sum up your information and make direct conclusions from there, as well as use models like ChatGPT or any other model to analyze that information, summarize it, and merge all of that data for direct expansive reports that you can later use to provide for your superiors or to analyze yourself and see where you can improve. All of that could be done without having to connect a billion different services in just one simple N8N integration. So it's very relevant for those of you that want to analyze your customer data and provide those actionable and quick insights where you can, jump the gun and you could get in on a certain trend. And lastly, it's content and CMS operations. So it can help auto-publish content directly to your Hostinger Horizons website using things like Airtable or Notion, right? As well as give those API calls directly back into your website. So making sure that things like blog posts are done regularly, right? Without having to run like a cron job, like something complex like that. With N8N, it's super simple, it's super easy to do, so you don't really have to worry too much about, do I have the technical requirements, the technical knowledge to do something like this? Because it is really simple to use N8N. It has a very simple interface, and Minus will showcase that in just a few short moments. And of course, it's useful for those of you that want to automate your content publishing, like we spoke before about Canva and how you can bulk post with Canva directly. So you could also use that and then even gain specific insights, like how many clicks am I getting on these posts? Did they perform well compared to my previous posts? All of that is great for, getting that information out reliably and quickly. If you are interested to learn a little bit more about Hostinger, about the N8N integration that we have with our VPS, then I do recommend to visit hostinger.com/N8N. You can take a look at all the VPS options. We have a bunch of videos and a bunch of information ready, and this particular tool is really making an up curve right now, so it's getting very trendy these days and getting very popular. So I do recommend to jump in and at least read a little bit more about it or watch a few videos, because people are using it a lot these days and it's making lives 10 times more easier. Now, I'll pass the mic over to my colleague Minius, and he'll showcase some integrations that he has prepared for you guys that you can also check out for yourselves.
Yeah, thank you, Carlos. You actually presented N8N really, really well. All of the topics you mentioned, from content automation to CRM integration, everything is available inside N8N. And why we talk about N8N? Because at hosting your VPS, we can install N8N with a single click. It's a one-click installation. And in this showcase that I'm going to be showing today, I prepared you two simple, very basic web apps that were created with Hostinger Horizons. And I connected those apps with N8N itself that I currently host on my VPS. And the main purpose of these, this connection with N8N is to automate something. This showcase will be, you will see in a second, will be really simple, nothing too serious. So you should be able to see it right now. So yeah, confirm, Carlos, if you can see the screen, because okay. So yeah, as we can see, we have a Hostinger Horizons app. We have only used 4 prompts to create a single web app that is actually CEO Analyzer, right? So it seems pretty simple, but behind it, we have an N8N workflow automation. So for anyone who hasn't seen or heard about N8N itself, this is how it looks. So basically, we build workflows using blocks, using no-code blocks that, we simply connect one to each other and build something useful. So for this case, I have created this workflow that actually uses AI, in this case, OpenAI chat model, to analyze the website. And we have this technical audit, we have this content audit, and it is connected to the Hostinger Horizons website. So in this case, if I would enter example.com, fingers crossed that it will work. And in the executions tab inside N810, we should also see the automation is running, and in the front end, it's it's spinning, it's loading. Let us see if it will do the CEO analysis or not. So any second, probably.
Everybody in the chat, I want to see some crossed fingers
Yeah, cross fingers, because
that it hopefully works.
yeah, it's spinning for more than 30 seconds. So you know how the live examples actually work. Okay, so in this case, I just stopped the execution because of some probably error. Let's try for another time, just so showcase the web app itself. But as you can see, the Hostinger Horizons web app that I built is actually working, and it's connected to the NE10 that I host on my VPS. And maybe this time it will work. Let's see. It's running for 20 seconds because we're using AI in this workflow, right? So the AI itself tries to analyze the website that I gave to, right? So because of that, sometimes it takes a little bit more of time. And as you can see, live translations, things happen. We cannot see the results. Okay, moving on then to the next example. Maybe it will load after quite some time, but moving on to the next example. So we are talking about the productivity, right? And things, how to automate something to be more productive, how to use Hostinger Horizons to build a tool for yourself, probably, maybe, to use it. So this tool is actually also a very, very simple idea. It is connected to a second workflow that was built in NE10. It has webhook trigger, so we have the endpoint that is here. And if we take like any video from YouTube, we can paste the URL link here and analyze the video. So for example, if you're a content creator, right? You copy any video of your video or maybe someone else's video, you copy here, and you basically, this tool checks the comment section, right? The positivity score, the analysis reason, like most disliked thing about this video, most liked thing about this video. And as you can see, it gave the response back. And in this workflow execution, we can see how it actually passed the data. So in the webhook that we have body, URL, and the URL itself, and then basically we pass this URL to YouTube API. Then we split out all of the comment section. Then we use summarize to bring back all the comments into a single piece. And then we use OpenAI, and we have a prompt that checks all of the comments. It reads all of them, then it gives a positivity score, the reason, the most liked thing about it, and basically that's it. That's the showcase of how NE10 can be easily integrated inside Hostinger Horizons web app. And in this YouTube scenario, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 prompts, and this app actually works. The CEO analyzer didn't work this time for some reason. It worked previously, but yeah, we use N810, to automate different stuff, and web app creation using Hostinger Horizon plus N810 for automation. I think it's a great use case, and the possibilities are pretty much endless. I will stop the presentation. That was from my side. Maybe you guys, have any questions. If you do, shoot them down below. But yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure people will have plenty of questions. Also, thank you very much, Minius, for your input here. I think it's so wonderful to see N8N working, in real time. You can analyze the data for yourself, and track, what's working and what's not. So, by using N8N. There's so many different capabilities. We saw very simple scenarios where you have either, a one line where everything is happening in sequence, or we have, splitting lines where you're doing specific separate tasks and then merging them together. But it can be so much more complex than that. You can have, I don't know, hundreds probably of lines going on at the same time. Of course, this would really increase the workload, but it can also increase complexity. So for those really, you know, time consuming and different tasks, imagine if you would be able to automate them using the power of N8N and then using Hostinger Horizons as kind of like a main interface for that. So I think
Yeah.
that's also a very interesting way to go about it. Don't you agree, Minius?
Yeah, I totally agree. I really like the one saying about N8N that you can literally automate anything you can imagine. That's the power of N8N, and combine it with Hostinger Horizons, you have a nice front end with a powerful automation, I would say. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. So now we have some time for a Q&A. Now, I did see there were a bunch of questions from you guys earlier, so let me scroll back and let's take a look. Is there anything that we could answer here? Oh, I see there is one by Petite who asks, do we plan to make it possible to use our own databases from Hostinger instead of Supabase? Now, if you have a dedicated Hostinger shared or cloud hosting plan, then in this case, I don't think it is, possible at this particular moment. But if you are using VPS and you have your own Supabase, Postgres database, or even BigQuery enabled, then you could connect those two pretty easily by using an API. I see there's also a question by Funchu who asks, when is the GitHub integration coming? So we are constantly working towards integrating more and more features in the future. So any kind of feedback that you provide, it's great for us. We'll keep a note of GitHub and make sure that it's in our plans for the future. Let's take a quick look at any other questions that you might have asked. Let's take a second here. I see there's one by Paul who asks, can I integrate a chatbot from ChatGPT or Gemini into my Hostinger website? Yes, you sure can. That is one of the use cases where you could use ChatGPT directly with Hostinger Horizons and integrate it using your OpenAI API key, right? So that's a simple, very and easy way to increase the productivity of yourself by not having to answer every single question manually. But for those simple questions that your users might have about your particular service or products, ChatGPT could do that for you if you integrate that directly.
Carlos,
Oh,
also, I can add to that. By using N8N itself, you can also integrate the chatbot to your Hostinger Horizons web app. And then in the N8N itself, you can control all the prompting. You can add different files, your knowledge base articles, everything inside N8N is possible. And you get a single chat widget embed from N8N that you can ask Hostinger Horizons to add to the website itself. So yeah, it's also possible to do that with N8N.
yeah. So another use case for N8N, another wonderful way to kind of integrate it directly with your, Hostinger Horizons website. Let's take a look at any other questions you guys might have. I'm going through the older ones at the moment, so if you have any new ones, don't worry, I'll get to them as well. Let's see what you guys have to say. I see you guys are big fans of N8N as well.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There's a question by Basim who asks, if I already have a hosting business plan, would I still need to buy another hosting plan for N8N? Now, in this particular use case, it is required to have a VPS for using N8N. VPS prices do range anywhere from, I think it's like $3 per month to a bit more, depending on the resources that you need. Yeah. So in this case, you would need a separate VPS plan in order to run N8N natively and self-host it. N8N offers their own plans that you can use as well, but if you have a VPS, it generally is a little bit cheaper to use ours in this case.
Yeah. And also, by using the self-hosted N8N version on the VPS, you have more power because there's unlimited concurrent executions. You can use community nodes, while on the cloud version of Anyten it's not possible yet, but or if it's possible, it's really limited. So yeah, by using Anyten on VPS, it's cheaper and it's even better.
Yeah, well, there you go, guys. Spoken from our VPS expert himself. Moving on forward, I see somebody has a request here from MGH Digital. Pretty big request as well. A direct link to publish apps directly to Play Store and App Store. I know that this is a very common request that we get a lot of the time, especially for Hostinger Horizons, to make mobile applications and be able to create them very easily. Now, because we are generally confined to things like the Play Store and the App Store, it really is not that simple. If it was super simple, then we probably would have done it, or somebody else would have done it already. But having the ability to upload and create a fully working mobile application, while also going through like stress tests and making sure that it has the capability of going, through all the options that you have on there. It is a really complicated process. We are digging in and more into on how we could do it, but as of this moment, it's still, I'd say, a pretty ways away until we have a definite, kind of option for that. Let's see. What other questions? Oh, I see there's a question by Juan. Maybe Minis, I think you can answer this one.
Can we have the Anyten JSON? Which JSON to be exact, if you could specify in the comments back again? Are you talking about the YouTube one or the CEO analyzer?
So Juan, if you can, let us know, right? And then we can let you know as well, right? And provide that JSON if you're very, very curious. Let's see, there's a question by Wally, the artist, and he says, I didn't know Anyten had a backend or front end like a website or index. Can Anyten manage the workflow of an entire KVM like programs running as the service endpoints or API? I think Minus, you can handle this one.
Yeah, really good question. Thank you for asking this one. So actually, to answer it shortly, yes, you can, because we also have a community node inside Anyten that's called Hostinger API. If you would go to npmjs.com, you could find it there. Or of course, if you have Anyten already, you can just go to the settings, install community nodes, and choose our Hostinger API community node. And this one is connected to our public API of Hostinger, and by using different, API endpoints, by just like selecting in the node itself, you can manage your KVM. You can restart, start, stop server, get metrics. You can automate, like if the CPU limit is reaching its peak, then maybe restart the server. And all of this automation can be done inside Anyten. So yeah. There's a possibility for you to control your KVM totally for free, because API is free. Hosting your API is free. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you very much for the answer there, Minus. I see there's also a question by Basim who asks, where do I find those Anyten Hostinger specialized tutorials and videos? I will post one video in the comments. You can also find them directly on this channel where you're watching it right now, Hostinger Academy. This particular video that I linked is actually featuring Minius himself. So he also does a little walkthrough and provides all of the information. So you'll see a very familiar face in there. Yeah, so hopefully that really does help.
If that's the video that I'm talking about, Hostinger API, so I'm answering also the question that previous viewer had. And yeah, today or tomorrow, we will be launching a new Anyten video featuring me. I will be talking about AI prompting inside Anyten and how to get the best results you can, by using automations.
Awesome, really great. I hope you guys are excited. If you are, hit the subscribe button to get notified when we get more videos in the future. In the meantime, let's move on back to your questions. I see there's a question by Pitch Pit who asks, is Hosting Horizon web apps robust and durable for various purposes? Now, it really does depend what you're using Hosting Horizons for. If you are going to be aggregating and, I don't know, manipulating terabytes of information inside of it, right? Then it might not be able to handle that in such a large and huge scope. But it really does depend, what you're looking for and what kind of your specializations are. If you want to learn more, you can also always ask Horizons, right, about your estimations. If you have a workload, if you have kind of like a scope of any kind, it can help you and provide you with direct answers. You can also ask Cody directly, as Cody can also help answer some of these questions for in terms of like how durable and how robust it can be. Moving on forward, let's take a look at your other questions. I see there's one by Juan who asks, can I use VPS with N8N with other services like Supabase? Now, this is a no-brainer that you sure can. You can also integrate other AI models like we saw before, like ChatGPT. You can also integrate other applications like I mentioned before, like WhatsApp or emailing, right? Or SMS as well. So there's multiple different applications you can go for. Just Supabase is, I'd say, one of many in this case. Right, Minyo?
Yeah, there's more than 500 different integrations, and if there's not, if the integration is not there, you can always use HTTP request to talk with other applications. If that was the question you had in mind.
Let's hope that in this case it was. Nice. Okay, moving on forward. I see somebody asked here, Metier Digital Solutions asks, I just bought a cloud startup server on Hostinger. Is N8N enabled on this plan? If you are talking about the cloud startup hosting plan, in this case, it is not. It is mainly meant for websites like WordPress, any other kinds of web, CMS systems. If you are looking for N8N directly, then I would generally recommend to look into Hostinger VPS. So if you are curious about that, you can also visit our website, hostinger.com/N8N, right, for more information about N8N and how it works, how to use it, where to start, and what to do.
I just want to a little bit promote our templates. So we have more than 90 templates for VPS, And talking about the N8N itself, if you have zero knowledge about how N8N works in general, how VPS works in general, right? We have 3 different templates related with N8N, and the one I would suggest for you to try out is the N8N plus 100 workflows. What it is, it's an N8N installation, just a regular one. But once you install it and start using it, there's already 100 of the most popular community workflows in your lab. You can try, explore different stuff. You can already, see different workflows that can probably make you money already. Just connect the credentials and start using it. Get to know the N8N, and of course, once you do that, you just can create your workflows from scratch. That's my suggestion. So yeah, try the VPS with N8N plus 100 workflows. That's my minute of
awesome. Thanks for the little promotion, Minyo. Moving on forward, we'll cover the last few questions here, and then we'll move on to the winners of today's lottery. I have a question here by ProLab who asks any recording of this webinar if you couldn't attend. So all of these videos that you see, all of these events, they are live and they are stored inside of YouTube. You can go directly to our channel, Hostinger Academy, and under the live section, you can find all of our previous webinars and our live events that have happened. So if you're interested in participating in more, you can also check out there for any upcoming events as well. And let's take a look at any other questions. I see there's one by VibeHub who asks, if we stop our account with Hostinger Horizons plan, do we lose our website? Not necessarily, since your website is still connected to a hosting plan, which is required for your website to be online and available on the internet. You can choose to continue with the hosting plan only. and not continue with the Hostinger Horizon subscription. So you won't be getting any more messages per month, but you'll still have your website online and running, because hosting is still a paid service as of this moment. And I think that would probably be pretty much it. I see we do have some interesting discussions going on about N8N and different kinds of integrations that you guys are curious about. So before we move on over to the winners of today's lottery, I do want to plug our Hostinger Horizons Discord channel. So feel free to scan the QR code that you see on the screen or copy over the link that you see on screen right now, while I'm going to be putting in all of your guys' information, right, to make sure that we have, all of the winners for today. We have a great community there that is very interactive, and people always showcase their own projects. You can take a look at other people's projects. You can present your own. You can ask questions. You can interact with our community champions, which are people that make your voice be heard directly to us, to our developers, and to our teams. So if you want to be part of a bigger community, I really do recommend to join our Discord channel and participate there for more cool Hostinger Horizons goodness. We also have updates about things like our contests, challenges, events, and any other things that are happening online. In the meantime, while I am looking into making sure that we pick out those 5 winners of today, I'm gonna leave over Minius for today. So thanks one more time, Minius, for your presentation. I think it was really great, even though the SEO analyzer might have not have worked perfectly, but still, I think it was invaluable information for our users to check out exactly how N8N can work with not only Hostinger Horizons, but a bunch of different things at the same time. So thank you one more time.
You're welcome. Bye, guys.
Awesome. Goodbye, Minions. The rest of you guys stay right here. I'll be grabbing all of your all of your answers to make sure that I have you guys, and I know which one of you added the right answers in the response mode, right, in the type form that we shared before. So let me make sure that I download it right here and make sure that you guys are all in one place so that I could also filter you out and make sure that we have everyone there. So just a moment, so chill, relax, and take a sip of water or any kind of beverage that you like. We'll be ready in just 1 minute. I'll also make sure that if anybody is trying to cheat their way in, I'm going to be deleting any duplicates. So we're not going to have, people with the same options in, with the same, email addresses and stuff like that. Okay, I think I have you already right here. So let me copy in the names. There we go. That should be it. It seems we have about 70 of you this time around. So I'll share my screen with you guys. Let me do that right now. There we go. Should be able to see that shortly. Let me close these pesky ads. Let me make sure that you guys can see me right here. And let's go ahead and pick our 5 winners of today, right? So I'm going to be spinning the wheel, and we're going to be doing it 5 times. 5 people who are going to be winners of 20 free Hostinger Horizons messages. Are you guys ready? Let's go. So our first winner of today is going to be Pravanshu. Congratulations, Pravanshu. You are a winner of 20 free Horizons messages. Let's move on over to our second winner of today. It is going to be John. Congratulations, John. We're going to be reaching out to you to make sure that you get those 20 messages. Let's move on over to our third person. Third time's the charm, as they say, right? And it's Petit. Congratulations, Petit. I saw you in the chat with your question as well, so great. Congratulations, you won 20 free Horizons messages. Next up, we have, in this case, it's going to be Bash. So congratulations, Bash. You're a winner of 20 free Horizons messages. And our last winner, so cross your fingers, guys, and hope to win. It's going to be, drumroll please, it's Sonji. Congratulations, Sonji. You won 20 free Horizons messages. So congratulations, those of you that won those free messages. I really hope that you had a really great time. I know I did. We had a lot of great things covered today. We took more than an hour this time around. So we'll reach out to you winners and apply your messages within the next day. In the meantime, if you lost, no worries, guys. We are running more lotteries as time goes on. Our challenge as well, if you register, you get free messages. So make sure to check our socials, check our Discord for more informations. Thank you everybody who participated today in our event. It was a pleasure to see you and to have you interact and learn more about various different AI integrations to supercharge that productivity. I have been your host for today, Karolis. I really hope you have a wonderful time, and I'm going to be saying good night, good day, or good morning, I guess. Good rest of your morning. Hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day and rest of your week. I'll see you guys in 2 weeks, and we'll be covering how to get your first $1,000 with launching your business online. So hope you guys are excited about that. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Got a $1 billion web app idea? Now you can turn it into reality with Hostinger Horizons. To start, just tell Horizons what you want to create and instantly receive the first version. Preview your project and make edits as you go by chatting with the AI. With one click, publish your creation and share it with the world. Connect your own domain straight from within the interface. No coding, no extra setup. With Hostinger Horizons, you get effortless web app creation, hosting, email, and more. Go to hostinger.com and turn your ideas into reality.